So for today, we are starting up with chapter number 2, polynomials. We have already covered chapter number 3. Only the NCRT we have covered and some worksheets, but we'll be coming back to that chapter once again for further advanced level questions. For now, we are switching on to chapter number 2 to complete the NCRT again. Now, chapter number 2, polynomials. We have done this, like this topic was introduced to us in grade 9th. So let us quickly have a review of polynomials. What are polynomials? They are made up of, they are actually expressions. Polynomials are what? They are expressions. What are expressions? Algebraic expressions. So algebra, this is a part of algebra. So they are algebraic expressions having variables, the value of which can vary. That is why it is named a variable. And then there can be constants, the value of which doesn't change, as in 5 ka value is always 1 more than 4 and 1 less than 6. 5 is always 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wherever you write it, 5 ka value can never be 6, can never be 4. It can never change. So constants, their value can never change. So with addition and subtraction and these signs, these variables and constants, they combine together to give you algebraic expressions that are known as polynomials. Understood, everyone? Is this clear? Okay. Now, let us quickly recollect that we heard of polynomial, linear polynomials. We heard of quadratic polynomials. We heard of cubic polynomials. What were those? Where the degree of a polynomial was 1, you called it as a linear polynomial. Linear polynomial. And if you draw it on a graph paper, you will get a line graph of it. It can be of any shape, like, but it will be a line graph always. Okay, linear polynomials, they give you line graphs. Okay, now a polynomial with degree 2 is called as quadratic polynomial. Right? A polynomial of degree 3 is a cubic polynomial. Right? Now let's have some examples of these. Linear polynomial, can anyone give me one example? Srishti, you tell me.
5x.
5x. Okay. Tanish, you give me one example of linear polynomial.
2x plus 1.
Okay. Arnav, you give me one example of linear polynomial. I cannot hear you. Turn the laptop a little towards you. I still cannot hear you. Bring laptop closer to you. Yes.
6y plus 1.
6y plus 1. Did he say 6y plus 1? 6y plus 1. Okay. Okay. Let's go to quadratic polynomial now. Janisha, you tell me what is quadratic polynomial, and Janisha, your camera should not be off during the class.
Sorry. Ma'am, a quadratic polynomial is a polynomial that has a degree of the variable as 2.
So tell me an example of a definition we have already discussed.
Ma'am, so the definition, sorry, example
I
can be 6x raised to the power 2 plus 1 plus 6 raised to the 6y raised to the power 2 plus 7x raised to the power 2.
Okay. Okay. Justified, right? The maximum power, the biggest power of the expression should be 2. Right? No matter what all other powers are there, but the highest one should be 2. Okay, so if I write 6y square plus 2y, that is also a quadratic polynomial. Right or not? Clear, no? Okay. So cubic polynomial, tell me, Gauri, one example for it.
Ma'am, 2x cube plus 5x square plus 1.
Very good. So do we necessarily have three terms here, Gauri?
No, ma'am.
So if I write 2x cube plus 1, is this still a cubic polynomial?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. Exactly. Because the highest power decides what type of polynomial, linear, quadratic, or cubic it is. That will be decided, right? With the number of terms, what would be decided then? Is it a monomial, binomial, or a trinomial? Understood or not? Now, what are monomials, binomials, and trinomials? Monomials have got one term, binomials have got two, trinomials have got three. So from the sheet only that we have, we'll quickly ask.
Ma'am, what does a graph of a cubic polynomial looks like?
Abhi, I'll show you beta. Abhi, I'll show you and I'll tell you like how to, just by looking at the graph, how will you judge it? Like it's the number of times it is cutting x-axis, but we'll discuss later. Okay. So this 5x. Diti, you tell me what is this? A monomial, binomial, or trinomial?
Monomial.
2x plus 1, Tanish.
Ma'am, monomial.
Sachi Gupta, 6y square plus 7x square. 2x cube plus 5x plus 1. Tia,
मैम बाइनोमियल मैम कौन सा वाला है
where are you
Oh.
lost?
ट्राइनोमियल
Where are you
मैम
lost?
मैम आपका स्क्रीन का मैम यहाँ से ब्राइटनेस कम कर रही थी क्योंकि पूरा रेड आ रहा है आईज पे
So tell me whatever color is not comfortable to your eyes, let me know initially. मैं उसको change कर दूंगी शुरू में. Why? Get your eyes trained.
ओके
Okay, so we have quickly discussed a little about polynomials, refreshed the memories of ninth grade. And now let us move ahead. The first page tells us about degree of polynomial. We have already discussed linear, quadratic, cubic polynomials. We have already discussed. There are examples written for it. We have already discussed those. Okay. Now, the next thing here, yes. The next thing here written is the value of p of x at x equals to k is denoted by p of k. Okay. So let me discuss this. What are they telling us here? That is called zero of a polynomial. So if I ask you that this is the polynomial 2x plus 1, find the zero of this polynomial. That's one question that I'm asking you. Another question that I'm asking you from here is, find the zero of the given polynomial and find this. Are these two things different? I want to hear it from you. From the ninth grade memory, scratch it out again and tell me if these two things are different. Finding the zero of a polynomial and finding that polynomial of zero, is it the same or different?
No, ma'am, it is
Different.
different. Different.
Shreya saying different, Arika saying different, Mishti saying different, Sachi
Ma'am,
Gupta.
Different.
Sachi Gupta, is it different or same? Come closer and tell me. Okay, Sachi P, tell me.
Ma'am, it's different.
Tia, Tanesh,
it's
Ma'am,
different.
different.
ओके टिया, आप अपनी साइड से स्क्रीन की ब्राइटनेस कम करो बच्चे। इवन दिस येलो कलर इज वेरी शार्प ऑन योर फेस। आपको ही सिस्टम का ब्राइटनेस कम करना है। लाइक आई हैव दिस ऑन दी F11 and F12 of mine keyboard. From there you can regulate that. Okay. Chalo, Abhi, Arnav saying what? It is same or different? If it's different, okay, different. So, okay, everyone find it out for me. Find the zero of this polynomial. How would you do that?
-1/2.
You will write P of X equals to 0 here. Finding the zero of the polynomial, you will put the complete polynomial equals to 0. So you will write 2x plus 1 equals to 0. That is 2x equals to -1. That's 1 getting there. And this will be x equals to -1/2. Right or not? So we'll write that. We'll write here is that -1/2 is the zero of px. Understood or not? Clear with it, everyone, or not? Now, when they say that you have to find P of 0, that means you'll write this P of x first here, 2x plus 1. And then under that, you'll write P of 0. So that means 0 replaced x here. Likewise, you will do it on your right hand side. Wherever is x is written, you'll write 0 there. Understood or not? So what is that now? Two zeros are a 0 plus 1. So P of 0 is 1. Did you get this or not, everyone? Is this clear or not? Finding the zero of a polynomial is putting the polynomial equals to 0 and finding the value of variable there. But finding P of 0 means you're replacing the variable with the 0. Is this clear, everyone? Should I move on? Okay. Now, give me 1 minute. Right. So now we are going to understand geometrical meaning of zeros of a polynomial. That means if you draw them on a graph paper, how would they look like? As I've told you, whenever you have a linear polynomial, that is you have the degree 1 of your polynomial, then the polynomial would look like a line to you. And it will always cut the x-axis at just a single point, be it positive x-axis or negative x-axis, but it will cut the x-axis at only one point. What is that point here? Can Gauri tell me? Gauri?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, on the figure 2.1,
Yes.
ma'am, the point is -2 on the x-axis.
On the x-axis, is it -2? Look at it very carefully, Gauri.
Ma'am, -3/2.
Yes, that's actually 1.5. No, it's in the middle of -1 and -2.
Yes, ma'am.
So you'll read this as 1.5 or you'll read this as a fraction. You'll have to read it as 3/2. Okay. So this is -3/2 because it's on the left side of the origin. So negative you'll write and -3/2 comma 0. Understood or not? Clear or not? है ना? So that is the one point where this line is cutting the x-axis. Yes, Bitaji, tell me.
Ma'am, it is also cutting through 3 also, right? From y-axis.
But that's y-axis, no? Linear polynomials, the condition here is that they'll cut only the x-axis. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Now moving ahead. Right. This is the graph of a quadratic polynomial. That is the polynomial having degree 2. And the graph that you can see, the curves that you can see, they are called as parabolas, which in 11th you will study under physics. So these parabolas will be included in physics in an 11th grade, which you'll study there. But here the introduction is that quadratic polynomials, they give you parabolas. on a graph. That means at 2 points on the x-axis, they would cut. Right? What are those 2 points, Mishti? Tell me here in this graph.
Ma'am, -1 and 4.
Would you call it at -1? This is -1, comma 0. Whenever on a graph paper you are addressing a point, it has to have 2 coordinates. Okay. So -1, comma 0 is 1 point and 4, comma 0 is the second point. Understood? Now let me introduce one more thing here. A linear polynomial will always have only one 0. That is one value of x is valid. Only one value of x is there. But quadratic polynomials, they have got two values. That is two zeros. Whatever is the degree of a polynomial, those many zeros are there of a polynomial. Understood or not? So if the degree of a quadratic polynomial is 2, that means that there are two zeros of that equation. We will learn how to solve that in the fourth chapter, that is quadratic equations. Okay, quadratic equation matlab a quadratic polynomial put equals to 0. So that becomes an equation then. And that equation then, when solved, you will get two zeros from there. Understood or not? So two values of x you will always get as your answers. Clear, everyone? Okay.
Ma'am, so here, how do we know that it's zero of the...
Come a bit louder.
Ma'am, so here in the graph, how do we know that it's a solution of the equation?
Appy, we'll be teaching everything. Don't worry. As it comes ahead, I'll teach you. Don't worry. Okay. Have patience. Abhi to there is n number of things. Ye sab hai na, that this is nothing in NCERT. They have not told you about this. But agar aap Olympiad point of view se dekho, to there are n number of questions coming from this highlighted portion. Abhi nowhere in your classes it will be discussed what is a greater than 0, what is a less than 0, when is the graph pointing upwards like this, when is it downwards, what are they called when it is upwards and downwards. It's not discussed in NCERT, but I'll tell you as it comes. Whenever I feel the need, likewise I'll keep telling you. Okay, so don't worry on this. I honestly believe in teaching NCERT also line by line. It's just that I'm not telling you that I'm going line by line. Okay, चलें अभी आगे. See, they've shown you two things here. It's there in the NCERT, but it's often not discussed. Okay. So now if you see the first two graphs here, the first two, they are both quadratic polynomials. The last two, they're both, tell me.
Linear polynomials.
Linear polynomials, right? Because they are touching the x-axis at just one point. Understood or not? Okay. Now, how would the quadratic polynomial look like then? It will look like this to you. It will cut x-axis at three distinct points. Understood or not? What are those 3 points here?
मैम ये तो क्यूबिक हुआ ना पॉलिनोमियल.
What did I say? Did I say something? Oh, Baba. No. It's cubic. This is how a cubic polynomial would look like. My bad. So this is a cubic polynomial. And this would cut the x-axis at three distinct points. Cubic polynomial, the one is having degree 3, will have zeros 3, will cut the x-axis at three distinct points. 3, 3, 3. Understood or not? Is this clear or not?
I have 4 points here.
No, there are 3 points here. Cutting the x-axis only, Sachi, there are 3 points here.
Oh, okay.
Tell me which 3 points are there. Tell me, Sachi.
-2, 0, 2, 0,
And the origin 0, 0.
0,0.
It's the origin, no? 0, 0, bache.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In this part, it's cutting the 1 point only. The first one, 2.7, cutting the x-axis at 1 point only. The second one cutting the x-axis at 2 points. So quadratic polynomial. Okay.
Ma'am, I did not understand the previous image.
This one.
Ma'am, how is that the first one is not cutting the x-axis? I do not get how they cut
It
the
is cutting the x-axis at one single point. Linear polynomial is sitting there.
Ma'am, and where is that?
Come again.
Ma'am, and where is that single point?
0, 0, origin beta.
Ma'am, how do we know whether it is crossing or not? Ma'am, because there's a flat line in between.
Yes, but that's crossing from 0 only. Okay. If it falls flat on something, to fir to that will be y equals to 0, no? You've learnt about that also in 9th grade.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? So this is 0, 0, passing through the origin only. Okay. Yes, Arika.
मैम लीनियर पॉलिनोमियल का ग्राफ स्ट्रेट लाइन नहीं होती है?
Abhi we'll discuss on that. Don't worry. Okay. That abhi बहुत सारे examples we'll discuss. Okay.
मैम ये ग्राफ हमें बनाने पड़ेंगे?
Which ones? These ones?
नो मैम.
Hmm.
मैम मतलब हमें पॉलिनोमियल देंगे, हमें बनाने पड़ेंगे.
Not
अच्छा.
now. No.
मैम ये
The
वाले
where
ग्राफ्स
you need to draw is that chapter you have already covered. Third chapter you have already covered. Now this is one very basic exercise 2.1. Can you people quickly solve it for me? Jaldi se.
Ma'am, do we have to make the graphs in our notebook?
मैम फर्स्ट वाले में तो मैम पर एक्स एक्सिस को टच ही नहीं कर रहा.
वही तो बताओ x एक्सिस को टच ही नहीं कर रहा तो अभी
मैम
9th
No
में सीख कर
solution.
आए हो ये.
Ma'am, no
Ma'am,
solution.
नो सॉल्यूशन. नो
Ma'am,
मैम होगा ही नहीं उसमें मैम. पी ऑफ 0 होगा.
अच्छा एक बार 9th के कॉन्सेप्ट को रिकलेक्ट करते हैं कि ये एक्चुअली इसका इक्वेशन क्या है. लेट दिस बी पासिंग फ्रॉम द लाइक द सेकंड पॉइंट ऑफ y. तो y 2 से पास कर रहा है मान लेते हैं. तो इस इक्वेशन का इसका इक्वेशन क्या है, इस ग्राफ का इक्वेशन क्या है?
0,2.
0,2. 0,2 है तो एक पॉइंट का एड्रेस हुआ. मैं तो इस ग्राफ का इक्वेशन पूछ रही हूँ आपसे.
X plus y. X plus y where x is equal to नहीं हाँ where x is equal to 0.
अभी
मैम
तो
y
फॉर 9th के
y is
फाइनल्स
y is equal
y is equals to 2. अभी तो 9th के फाइनल्स के लिए वी रिवाइज्ड दैट. This is y equals to 2. This is y equals to -2. This is y equals to 0. This is x equals to 0. This one's x equals to 1. Didn't we do that? Tia, didn't we? है ना? So this is y equals to 2, right everyone or not?
this is linear equation then.
Yes, this is linear equation. So this is y equals to 0 ka y equals to 2. This is y equals to 2 passing through 2. So this is y equals to 2 ka graph. Okay, now can you write this as like in two variables? Can you write it? Where is x here? Do you have any x here? Do you remember how did we do that?
0x plus y minus 2 is equal to 0.
0x plus y equals to 2. That means whatever value of x you put here, 0 into 2 plus y is also 2. Why? Because this 0 2s are will be gone. 0, 5 plus y equals to 2. Whatever value of x you are putting, it's going every time, and y you have every time 2. So that means x pe bhi 1 pe bhi the y is 2, x2 pe bhi the y is 2, x0 pe bhi y is 2, x minus 1 pe bhi y is 2. So that is why you are getting this equation. Understood or not? So when you have a equation p of x, x axis x, right or not? So x is whatever be the value of x you have, the same value of y, right or not? So what is this? Is this linear or not? That's linear. Understood or not? And what is the number of zeros here?
0.
Yes, Shreya, you tell me.
Ma'am, 1.
Think of it. We have done it in the last class. Abhi to we have discussed. Again, think of it. How many zeros would it have? क्वेश्चन को पढ़ो बच्चे एक बार से दोबारा से.
1.
देखो, the graph of y is equals to p of x are given in the figure 2.10 below for some polynomials. So y is equals to p of x का आपको ग्राफ मिला है यहाँ पे. Find the number of zeros for p of x. आपको p of x के zeros निकालने हैं. If it is not cutting x axis, p of x would have
2.
how many zeros? So vote. Okay, let's have a vote.
Ma'am, 0.
Yes, ma'am.
So the line that is cutting the x axis the number of times. So jitne number of times it is cutting the x axis utne zeros aate hain. Simple. We have discussed this. So not cutting x axis at any point there are 0
मैम मुझे एक डाउट है.
zeros to it. Yes.
Ma'am, if it like just touches the x-axis, so can we consider it as cutting the x-axis?
Yes, it is actually it is cutting, it is touching only the x axis. अभी जो हमने पीछे एक डायग्राम किया था जैसे आई थिंक यहाँ तो नहीं है एग्जाम्पल, it's just like touching it at one point. So this is also having 1 0.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
clear. So this has got no zeros, no solutions. Okay, clear. Next one, at 1.10, at 3 points. अच्छा ये भी पूछ सकते हैं, what type of a equation is this? What type of a equation is this?
Linear equation.
Linear quadrilateral. This is linear polynomial.
मैम ये
Not,
2
not
point.
equation, linear polynomial. This
Ma'am,
is
ये-
linear polynomial. This is cubic polynomial having 3 zeros. This is quadratic polynomial having 2 zeros. This is
4 zeros.
4. So it's a biquadratic polynomial. They haven't asked you here what type of a polynomial is it, but this is called biquadratic polynomials. Or you can simply write here that there will be 4 zeros of this equation because biquadratic equations are not in your syllabus. Okay. And what is this 1, 2 and 3? So this
Ma'am,
is
but
cubic.
ma'am, but
Excuse
2
me,
and
ma'am.
3 are just touching the graph, no?
So it is touching that on x axis. No, that is considered it. That is considered beta.
Excuse
Okay.
me, ma'am.
अगर आप इसका point का value रखो तो this will be on x axis or not, है ना? So this has got 3. Yes, बोलो टिया बेटा.
मैम यहाँ पे भी तो टच हो रहा है.
किधर हो रहा है बच्चे?
यहाँ.
बेटू वो x axis को टच हो रहा है.
मैम बट एक्स एक्सिस के नीचे वाला. ओ वो तो y है.
वो तो y है. ओके, वो तो y है. ऐसा तो फिर यहाँ पे भी हो रहा था. वन मोर टाइम, किधर गया? ये रहा. नो, this is not the correct value. No, we cannot consider these. ये value we cannot consider. Okay, everyone or not? Yes, Janisha.
Ma'am, so it basically has to touch the x-axis. Only touch, not intersect or cross.
Touch or cross both. It should have a value on x-axis, beta. Simple. The y should be 0 somewhere, right?
Acha. Okay.
Clear
Ma'am,
or
and
not?
the third graph over here, there is this. Can this be called a parabola?
11th में पढ़े इसको.
Ma'am, क्योंकि
बहुत कुछ है, इतना मजा आएगा. ट्रेजेक्टरीज ड्रॉ करोगे फिजिक्स में, बॉल को किस एंगल पे फेंकना है कि वो कितना दूर जाके गिरेगी, पैराबोलास, हाइपरबोलास, सब करेंगे 11th में फिजिक्स में कवर.
मैम आप एक
Okay.
बार करियर काउंसलिंग करना प्लीज.
ठीक है.
Yes, ma'am.
ओके, चलें अभी आगे. Relationship between zeros and coefficients of polynomial. So what is the relationship between zeros and the coefficients of a polynomial? This is one very important thing that is asked in the exam and you have to note this down. सो वेरी क्विकली नोट दिस. अच्छा, सबसे पहले ऐसा करते हैं हम. राइट. सबसे पहले एक क्वाड्रेटिक पॉलिनोमियल लिखते हैं. 2x² plus 3x plus 1. And let's identify what is A, B, C here. What's A?
Ma'am, 2.
Coefficient of x square, है ना, or x. So that is 2. Okay, what is B here?
3.
3.
Okay. What is C here?
1.
1.
1. Okay, now if you can spot A, B, C from here, so now we will be writing these things here. This you have to note down. How did you get this? This is not in your syllabus. Alpha plus beta. What is this alpha beta? From where has this come? अभी में अभी तो इससे पहले तो नहीं था. So let me tell you.
मैम
When
अल्फा
I say
पार्टिकल्स.
no, physics थोड़ी है ये.
मैम ये
ना
ग्रीक
अभी
Ma'am, Greek letters हैं.
yes अभी बता रही हूँ. When you talk about quadratic polynomials, I say there are two zeros of it, right? When there are two zeros of it, so one zero is called as alpha and the second zero is called as beta. So it's like this A only extended a little. It's like this B only extended a little, right? So alpha and beta, they are relatable है ना. A B जैसा ही दिख रहा है ना. Alpha and beta are what? Are the two zeros we are talking about? That quadratic polynomial would have two zeros. It would have two solutions. It will have two values, right? Zeros, roots, value, solution. They all mean the same. Find the zero of a polynomial, find the value, find the solution, or find the roots of the polynomial. They all mean you're finding it equals to 0. Like we have done it, p of x equals to 0 you're solving. Understood or not? है ना? So alpha and beta, when I say quadratic equation have got two zeros, those two zeros in general are known as alpha and beta. Is this clear or not to everyone? Understood? Now, if there are two solutions to quadratic equations, there are relations. If you find the sum of both alpha and beta, they'll always be equals to minus b by a. What is ab here? Okay. If I have this
Coefficients.
quadratic equation, good. 2x square plus 3x plus 1. This is my quadratic equation. So I'm saying here there'll be two values of x. है ना? Its graph will be like, I don't know, like this or this, but it will cut x-axis at 2 points, है ना? ऐसे ही होगा ना. अभी बताऊंगी वो a equals to 0, greater than 0 और less than 0. हाइपरबोला का भी और पैराबोला का भी. अभी के लिए this is what? This is a quadratic polynomial and it will have two zeros. One is alpha, one is beta. Abhi we don't know what are the zeros. Abhi I have not told you how to solve quadratic polynomials. Middle term splitting के अलावा आपको नहीं आता है इसको solve करना, है ना. मिडिल टर्म स्प्लिटिंग से भी फैक्टर्स बनाने आते हैं, अभी उनसे वैल्यूज निकालनी नहीं आती हैं आपको. तो इफ देयर आर टू जीरोस अल्फा एंड बीटा, इफ यू ऐड बोथ द जीरोस, तो जो आंसर होगा दिस विल बी माइनस बी बाय ए. सो दैट इज -3/2. Without knowing the zeros, you know what is the sum of the zeros. Without knowing those things, you know what is their sum. Understood or not? Because that comes from the equation. This is the relationship between the zeros and the coefficients. Understood? Now I know if you multiply alpha and beta, those two zeros, if you multiply, you will get positive c by a. So no negative sign here. So in this case, it will be 1/2. Understood or not? Let me tell you one thing. The most common thing where kids confuse is that these are the two zeros, -3/2 and 1/2. These are not the zeros. These are the sum of two zeros and product of two zeros. Understood or not? Now अभी बहुत अच्छा लगेगा आपको जब मैं आपको इन्हें याद कराऊंगी, इसे 8 से कनेक्शन डेवलप करके दिखाऊंगी. तो यू रिमेम्बर जब आप मिडिल टर्म स्प्लिटिंग करते थे तो कहीं आप प्रोडक्ट ऑफ लेते थे दो चीजों को और कहीं आप सम लेते थे, मिडिल में सम लेते थे मिडिल वैल्यू के लिए और लास्ट में कांस्टेंट के लिए प्रोडक्ट। अभी दिखेगा आपको ये वहां पे, इससे आप वो क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन वापस भी फ्रेम कर सकते हो। ठीक है, बता दूं अभी से क्या?
यस मैम।
आपने क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन आपको नहीं पता है कौन सी है, नाउ दिस इक्वेशन यू डोंट नो, you don't know this, you only know sum of and this, you only know these two things. So how would you make the equation? You will write this as x square and then you will write plus sum of zeros and then you will write plus product of zeros.
मैम आपको कैसे पता कि एक्स स्क्वायर होगा वहां पे?
क्वाड्रेटिक पॉलिनोमियल है ना,
ओ राइट, यस मैम।
है ना, और सम ऑफ जीरोस के साथ एक एक्स लग जाएगा, मिडिल टर्म है ना सम वाली, है ना। तो अब आप यहाँ पर वैल्यूज पुट करो, दिस इज एक्स स्क्वायर, अच्छा ये ना माइनस होता है यहाँ पे, ये माइनस होता है एक्स स्क्वायर। मैं एक बार थोड़ा सा याद करूंगी इसे, माइनस है कि प्लस है, अभी आई विल रिकलेक्ट एंड आई विल टेल यू। इफ दिस इज माइनस सो -3/2, मैंने सम ऑफ जीरोस जो था यहाँ पर पुट किया एंड आई विल पुट एक्स विद दिस एंड देन आई विल पुट द प्रोडक्ट हियर 1/2। इज दिस द सेम पॉलिनोमियल विच आई हैव हिडन हियर? नो दैट्स नॉट। तो क्या करें, 2 को एलसीएम ले एंड इक्वल्स टू
मैम
0।
फिर वो जीरो कर दी।
2x square minus 3x plus 1 equals to 0. This gone there, 2 gone. Isn't this the same polynomial now? This is minus of -3 now. This is plus now. So yes, there is a minus here. And now see, this polynomial is back. Understood or not? ये मिडिल टर्म स्प्लिटिंग में किया था आपने कि सेंटर में दो जो स्प्लिट्स निकाले हैं प्राइम फैक्टराइजेशन के, उन स्प्लिट्स का सम लिखते हैं सेंटर में, मतलब +7 -3 +4 होना चाहिए मिडिल टर्म, ऐसा किया था राइट। और जो लास्ट टर्म होता था वो एक्चुअली प्रोडक्ट लेकर प्राइम फैक्टराइजेशन करते थे, इफ यू कैन रिकलेक्ट दैट। जो 8th पढ़े हैं मेरे से उनको तो याद कुछ कुछ आ रहा होगा, आ रहा है कुछ याद? वाह अच्छा है, पढ़े जाओ और भूले जाओ, गुड वन,
मैम थोड़ा
वेरी
याद
गुड।
है, मैम थोड़ा याद है।
सिर्फ यस में एक आरिका का ही ऐसा है, बाकी सबका कि ना बोल दे क्या, बोले
नहीं
कि नहीं
मैम
बोले?
थोड़ा याद है इसका,
अरे
लास्ट
मुझे
एंडिंग
पता
में
है
आपने
तुम लोग
बताया
सब,
था।
तुम डिलीट ऑल करके नेक्स्ट क्लास में आते हो, है ना,
नो मैम।
अपनी मेमोरी
यस
क्लियर करके आते हो फॉर फ्रेश थिंग्स, बट दे आर बेस्ड ऑन प्रीवियस कॉन्सेप्ट्स बेटा जी।
यस मैम।
चलें अभी, वी हैव आई थिंक ये क्यूबिक पॉलिनोमियल्स का है, इस पे क्वेश्चन आ जाता है बट इसकी बात हम बाद में करेंगे। दैट इज द सम ऑफ ऑल, अभी जो क्यूबिक पॉलिनोमियल है उसके 3 जीरोस होते हैं, तो आप उन्हें अल्फा बीटा गामा से शो करते हैं। सो सम ऑफ जीरो इज अल्फा बीटा एंड गामा, दैट इज -b/a and this is like the products of 2's added, उसका value is c/a and product of all three would be -d/a। अब what is d? क्यूबिक पॉलिनोमियल है तो 4 टर्म्स भी हो सकते हैं ना, चार टर्म्स होंगे वहां पे। ओके,
4 टर्म्स नहीं हुए तो
तो आपने 0 रखना सीखा है चीजों को,
यस मैम।
है ना, तो वो 0 हो जाएगी।
मैम ये
करेंगे इस पे
याद है?
बात,
यस
अभी मैं
मैम।
आपको इसके बारे में डराना नहीं चाहती, इसीलिए हम एक्सरसाइज 2.2 पे आ चुके हैं एंड विद दिस द चैप्टर विल बी ओवर। विद दिस
मैम ये नेक्स्ट क्लास में स्टार्ट करते हैं मैम।
हम इसे डेफिनेटली, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू, आई वाज गोइंग टू टेल यू कि हम इसे नेक्स्ट क्लास में ही स्टार्ट करेंगे। 2.1 हम लोगों ने आज कर ली है, लेकिन यू हैव अंडरस्टूड ऑल द कॉन्सेप्ट्स रिलेटेड टू द चैप्टर फॉर द बेसिक लेवल ऑफ maths of NCERT. Okay, so now you have to complete your notes, whatever I have taught you, whatever like the parts we have discussed, exercises के बीच में जो भी bold words थे, ट्राई रीडिंग एनसीईआरटी का मैथ्स का चैप्टर ऑल्सो. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि मैथ्स को रीडिंग वर्क नहीं कर सकते. रीड इट, थिंग्स वुड बी बेटर. ओके
मैम बट
सो
समटाइम्स कॉम्प्लिकेट हो जाता है.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम.
जहां लगे कॉम्प्लिकेट हो रहा है वहां 4-5 लाइन स्किप कर दो और आगे भाग जाओ. जहां लगे बहुत बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, अब नहीं समझ में आ रहा ये क्या हो रहा है, ये पी ऑफ एक्स पी ऑफ वाई, तो थोड़ा आगे स्किप करके आगे चले जाओ. बट ट्राई रीडिंग इट. ऑल्दो मोस्ट ऑफ इट आई हैव कलेक्टेड एंड टोल्ड यू. ओके. हिडन होमवर्क ऑफ द बैच इज,
आज सृष्टि के खाने में क्या बना था? वेट, रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ वो.
ओहो, पर हमने किससे पूछा था कि खाने में क्या बना है. ओके चले,
मैम
पर्सनल
हमारी
विंडो पे आंसर आएगा. ओके चलो आज के लिए रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ कर रहे हैं. बाय बाय बच्चा लोग.